Well, how much can 3 weeks change a narrative? Seems like a lot, doesn't it? I think we are starting to see what exactly it was Steve Yzerman was cooking when he kicked off the aggrandized Yzerplan. Because today, I think it's pretty fair to say that the Yzerplan probably looks like the best it has ever had the entire time Steve Yzerman has been a part of the Detroit Red Wings. Not as a player, but as a GM. Because yesterday, the Detroit Red Wings had themselves a preseason game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I get it, it's a preseason game. This doesn't matter. This was a really insignificant 60 minutes of hockey time. But despite the fact that a preseason game has sparked up this conversation, I think for the first time in years, it's actually worth having this conversation compared to not. Because my oh my, did the Detroit Red Wings show off heart, determination, grit, skill, and most of all, youthful exuberance. You talk about Eminem and Rap God? Oh yeah, this is exactly what we are talking about here. It's Detroit, Michigan, baby, coming in there with all of the young prospects, making an impact, making things happen. You've got Emmitt Finnie going up one-on-one against Austin Matthews to get empty net goals, and Michael Brandsegg-Nygard setting guys up in front for game winners with minutes to go in the third period. It was a really tight game between the Detroit Red Wings and the Toronto Maple Leafs, despite the fact that the Red Wings heavily outshot Toronto. Toronto only had 19 shots on goal, the Red Wings had 42, yet the Maple Leafs still found themselves a way to have a 1-0 lead for most of the contest. And this wasn't like the Marlies either. I mean, you look at the lineup who was available for Toronto: Matthews, Nyes, Nylander, McMahon, Tavares, Domi, Michelli, Waugh, Dakota Joshua, Lawton, Lorentz. This was essentially their normal team. Now, the Maple Leafs, they had the lead for most of the game, but Detroit ended up on top. And you know what's funny? Like, Emmitt Finnie ended up scoring the empty net goal. He comes down the wing, he shoots, it's blocked by Matthews, but then Finnie picks up the rebound and buries it in. There was a comment on the R Detroit Red Wings subreddit that I saw. I thought it was hilarious. It was like, hey, I can't remember the last time we scored an empty net goal. And I was like, that's a pretty sad thing to say about your favorite hockey team, but man, is there some semblance of truth to that when you think about where the Detroit Red Wings have been, just the path they've gone down the past few years. It was always patience, patience, patience. We got young guys in the system. We got screwed over in the draft lottery. We've got this prospect and that prospect, and this guy's showing up very well. This guy's a first rounder. He's going to become good in a few years. This guy's a 7th rounder. He's going to be good sooner. It's always been about the prospects, but now they're actually on the team, and they're actually making some pretty good things happen in the preseason. Whether or not any of these guys get sent down is outside of my control because I'm recording this audio on the night of Thursday, October 2nd. But for right now, I mean, Axel Sandin-Pellikka has significantly improved from the start of the preseason up until yesterday. Michael Brandsegg-Nygard is starting to show off some serious NHL maturity. Emmitt Finnie has gone out there and just taken over every Detroit Red Wings fan's heart. I mean, this is what we were talking about. The young guys are showing up and they're actually providing value. How difficult is it going to be to send any of these guys down? And just thinking of the development curve there, Emmitt Finnie was a 7th round pick 2 years ago. The fact that a 7th round pick looks good enough to play in the National Hockey League is already one thing, but the fact that he was just taken 2 years prior, that is absolutely astounding. And you can chalk up whatever developmental issues or growth issues he had when he was a teenager as to why he slipped all the way to the 7th round in the first place. But now, after significant improvements in the CHL and showing off extraordinarily well in this year's training camp and preseason, Emmitt Finnie is so difficult to deny. If he ends up getting sent down, it's not going to be because the Red Wings don't believe in him. As long as some of these other young guys start to make the team, I think we're really going to start seeing that youth movement that Steve Yzerman was building turn into reality here. Because these young guys, they're coming into the Red Wings organization, they know the pressure that is on this team. They know how the disappointment has seeped in through this fan base for years. And if there's anybody that's going to go out there and want to prove anybody wrong, it's these young guys that are truly starting to make an impact and that are coming for the jobs of guys like JT Compher and Jonathan Berggren, guys who, for the most part, have been outworked, I would say. Nobody in the Red Wings lineup, especially on forward, should be guaranteed to have a spot. Of course, you got Larkin, Raymond, Kane even, etc. But some of these other guys, even Rasmussen, Burgers, it's difficult to see that they are more impactful and more useful to the Detroit Red Wings than some of these other younger dudes that are truly making a positive impression. Now, not to mention the fact that JVR's absence also makes this very difficult because it's like, yeah, I think he probably gets a spot, but like the fact that he hasn't been there really makes it difficult to evaluate whether or not he should be first line left wing or middle six left wing, something like that. Emmitt Finnie playing alongside a Raymond and Larkin. If you wanted to get an underdog Calder contender, place your bets on Emmitt Finnie. Is he challenging Ivan Demidov? Is he challenging Zeev Buium? There definitely is a conversation that I think we can have about that. And you could talk about cap space, you can talk about burying money, you can talk about Rasmussen and Compher and their cap hits. But I guess with the way the Detroit Red Wings have built themselves over the past few years, it was about time Steve Yzerman started to get value on ELCs, right? Like, yeah, it took a while for the Red Wings to fully get these first Steve Yzerman draft picks into the lineup. Seider and Raymond, they took a little bit of time, but they inevitably became top-tier Red Wings. They're stars. You just kind of needed everybody else to step up to the plate. Albert Johansson has been an underrated pickup. Simon Edvinsson, as long as he stays healthy, he'll be there and he'll be square. Sebastian Cossa, you can debate whether or not he's actually going to be a Red Wing long-term. But then all these other guys too. Brandsegg-Nygard, Kasper, Sandin-Pellikka, Danielson even. We haven't spoken a word about Danielson in this video. And then Emmitt Finnie. All the guys that you want to see challenge for spots are doing that. And the Yzerplan, for the first time in years, is actually looking like it's going to yield positive results. And I say for the first time in years because this is what the Yzerplan was about. It was about those young guys. It was about the retooling, reshaping the team from the old to the young, and allowing these guys to carry it forward. 2 years ago, or I guess I could say last year, 2 seasons ago instead, when the Red Wings barely missed out on the playoffs, that was good. But a lot of folks would say that that wasn't necessarily the roster that should have been able to do that. It was put together with veteran names, and you can debate whether or not these guys were actually meaningful pieces into the long term, and, you know, a lot of Red Wings fans would have wanted to see them make the playoffs. It's just, they ended up faltering, thanks to John Tortorella pulling the goalie. But with this in mind, we're at a different point in the Red Wings timeline, and the Yzerplan is looking better than ever. As long as this momentum carries into the regular season, I think we're going to have a lot more to cheer about as Red Wings fans compared to years prior. And yes, I'm making this video off the heels of a win over the Toronto Maple Leafs, essentially the regular Maple Leafs team. If you enjoyed this video at any point, feel free to hit the like button. If you did not, then hey, the dislike button is down there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd really appreciate it if you got involved in the conversation there. Let me know your thoughts as to how the Red Wings plan is looking, the Yzerplan, and the young guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.